There you go, talking about the last time we were here for a quarterback pro day with Carson Wentz. I don't think I see anybody with a squirt bottle spraying water on the ball here for Trey Lance, though, as he's getting warmed up. DJ, you mentioned the conversation you've had with Quincy Avery, who's helping Trey Lance get going. Here's some of our first throws. What has Quincy been working on with Trey the last few weeks?
Well, you'll see it with this front foot. They're really trying to get that front foot in the ground a little bit quicker, which is going to give him a little more rotation with his upper body. He can get a little bit linear and a little bit upright. So they feel like if they can get that front foot in the ground, they'll get a little more rotation, which is going to help him. And then also just trying to tighten up that release a little bit. Can get a little bit long. So those are really the things they've been focusing on as he kind of gets loosened up here and gets ready to go.
I think we're going to see some of that quick game first. I think one of the important distinctions here with Trey Lance is, look, we're not talking about a guy that's a primarily RPO type of quarterback, in a spread college system. This is as close to a pro system as we see in college football.
Yeah, with responsibility at the line of scrimmage, being under center, 5-step drops, play action from that standpoint. He had a lot on his plate. So while the number of starts is limited, in terms of the responsibility, he's had more responsibility than probably any other quarterback in this draft class.
That's interesting. Our pal Chase Goodbread does such a great job in our Back to Campus features. Got a quote from his quarterback coach at North Dakota State, said he handled all those protections, identifying the mic, all that stuff. And the credit for just 13 sacks in 16 games in 2019 is shared by both Trey and the offensive line for figuring that out.
Yeah, which is big. And I also think it's interesting, you're not having a season this year. You can look at the negative side of that. Man, would love to have seen him get some opportunities to compete, but he also had a chance to spend a year with Quincy Avery really studying the NFL game and getting himself ahead mentally.
Of course, Quincy Avery works out with Deshaun Watson, and Trey had mentioned in an interview you did with him on the Move the Sticks podcast that likes the calmness of Deshaun Watson's game, wants to emulate that. I think we see that a little bit here, too. You're going to hear Quincy throughout this workout. We have him mic'd up.
Stick on the right side. He's going to be out of the gun, starting outside, coming back to it.
Simulating a little bit here where you can see his eyes.
On our left.
Good pace early on here, Rich.
Sure, wanting to fire this thing up a little bit, especially in the shorter routes. Nice slant ball there.
And you can see the ball jumps out of his hand. I mean, if you're talking, again, just velocity, pure arm strength, he would, again, be at the top of the class this year with that.
Yep. Slant on the right.
Eric Phoenix Sproles tell Kim Jones he throws a great fastball. And while he's built like a brick house, you don't want to see him have to throw it through a brick wall every time. But he's got that touch when he needs it.
Yeah, he's showing the ability to layer the football here. That last slant, a little bit on the back shoulder, want to get that one out in front. But
right side.
He does. He is not all fastballs.
No, I'm sorry, VZ, stay there. Yep, stop. Yep, you got to stop.
A quick 5, and you can see again, look at that front foot. They're really trying to shorten that stride, get that foot down.
Stop on the left. Free access.
Yeah, this is a really tight pace here early on for Trey Lance.
All right, we got the OTB.
Throws.
Yep.
Real tight, quick 5-step there on that last one.
Mark, you got the slide option. Yep, slide option.
So we talk about the one game, right, from 2020 against Central Arkansas due to COVID-19. How much emphasis are teams going to put on that one game, compared to the first 16 we saw in 2019?
Well, I would caution you not to put too much on that. I know it was probably his worst game that he's played, was the one game this year. And I thought he was a little bit gassed up, a little bit too amped up for that game. He ended up settling down in the second half. I mean, gosh, the guy ran for 140-something yards
2 touchdowns
in the game.
He showed one of them.
To me, I think you go back and you watch last year, you put more credence on that. But even in that game, the stat line doesn't look great, but you see some big-time wow throws, one big drop in that one as well. But again, the skill set is there. We're going to see it during this workout. Just watch the ball jump out of his hand.
Yeah, I mean, there's tremendous pace in football. It gets there in a hurry. It gets where it needs to be. But can't imagine the pressure that was on Trey Lance in that one game, right? Your first 16 games, you go 16-0, national champion, 28 touchdowns, not a single interception, right? You start getting all that first-round buzz, and then you only have one game, so everybody's like, all right, let's see what the Phenom has in one game. Yeah, the first quarter was a little rough, 1 for 7, had a sack fumble, but then turned it around a little bit, had some nice throws. And that throw is what I love from Trey Lance, the NFL out.
Yeah, he can drive the ball outside and power the football. And to me, I want to see, as we go through this workout, some of the touch throws down the field and on the perimeter. There's a couple that got away from him, and we like to say in scouting, keep it on the court. I know it's a field, but it's just a phrase we use.
Well,
and
you can let it go.
You got a couple balls get out of the field to play. So those are some specific throws I want to see in the workout today.
Kim Jones with us inside the Fargo Dome, taking in this workout live in person there for Trey Lance. Kim, what are you seeing?
Hey guys, well, one thing that I learned before the workout as we continue to watch Trey Lance is that Trey Lance's personal quarterbacks coach, Quincy Avery, went through the quote-unquote quarterback-needy teams. Now, we could argue what that actually means, but they were confident that they identified the quarterback-needy teams in this draft. They then went to the offenses run by those teams, and they have tailored this workout to throws and play calls that are made by those very teams. I think it's genius. I talked to a couple general managers who told me they'd never heard of that before, but they agreed it was a really good idea. And one other person said it's just really smart of the young man to do it that way, allowing these teams to see truly what they're going to get.
That's great insight. Kim Jones there live with us inside the Fargo Dome. Kim, thanks very much. Does such a great job covering the Combine for us. In the absence of that, great to see you down there watching some Combine-like workouts here in this Pro Day scenario. So who are some of those teams then? We talking about the Falcons at 4.
Saw Joe Brady right behind him when he was throwing with the Carolina
Panthers at 8.
We
We showed you Matt Rule to start the show there. Head coach of the Panthers in his second season coming up. I think maybe George Payton in the Broncos. There's some Mike Shule, the quarterback coach, talking to Trey Lance before the workout. There for the Broncos at 9 could be interesting.
No. We got the basic here.
I know one thing about Trey Lance he's going to do for whichever one of those teams drafts him. He's going to expand your playbook because the throws you see right here, again, look at the
nice
pace.
big ball.
The pace on the football is phenomenal. But the thing he's going to do, expand your playbook, because not only are you going to be able to do what we're seeing here, throw the football, you're going to be able to do some design quarterback runs. You see the way he's built. He's built to handle some of that. So he's going to give you a lot of options with what he can do as an athlete, not just a thrower.
Well, and I think with the inexperience, the popular thought is, well, we're going to have to let him sit for a minute, right? But you made a great point yesterday on our coverage of the Texas and Clemson Pro Days that, yeah, maybe you want to wait a little while before he's your full-time starter, but you can still use him in the meantime, right?
He's got a lot of clubs in his bag, and we mentioned the one game against UCA this year where he wasn't at his best. Well, okay, he's a little bit off throwing the football in that game. I'll take the game over with my legs.
Go get your rhythm on the ground.
And that's what he did. So, to me, as a young player, we saw it with Russell. Wilson has a beautiful deep ball, and that's exactly the throw that I wanted to see from him today. So that's a beautiful ball. But with Russell Wilson early in his career, use your legs to create some opportunities for yourself. And as you grow and gain more knowledge in the system, you can win more from the pocket. Here's another one that's a little overshot.
Yeah.
Now, that was a little bit what you see show up on tape on some of those misses on the outside. But Russell was able to then, grow and evolve into being more of a pocket guy. I think that's what you're going to see with Trey.
14 on the right? 14-yard stop. We got 4 verts.
14-yard stop route here. Oh, it's another look at that deep ball that you love, DJ. That's on the money right there.
Dropped it right in the bucket.
That one goes for 6.
I know one thing.
Days.
He's in great shape because the pace of this workout is really moving, and he's not breathing hard at all.
Receivers might be, but he's not. I think we got only 4 guys out here catching passes. So
and that sounds like a dumb thing, right? Like he's not breathing hard, but no, the guy's in shape. It shows you there's a commitment level, and there's been other recent pro days where we've seen a quarterback who wasn't in shape, and that was a red flag.
I work at Hank. We got the OTB for Hank. So, hey, Ari.
We talk about the experience as a big part of the evaluation here. 17 games in college, 318 pass attempts. By the way, you know who else had 17 games in their college career as a starter?
We're getting off the curve.
Kyler Murray.
The OTB
Mac Jones, given it was on a different level, right? But another interesting one that actually another national champion like Trey Lance that had fewer games just re-signed with the Patriots today. Cam Newton, 14 games in major college football. Interesting.
Yeah, none of those guys lost a lot of games either.
Yeah,
Look
exactly.
at that. We saw his footwork previously on that one. You saw how crisp he was, no wasted steps. Now you're showing the ability to kind of the off-platform throw, to be able to kind of get to your left and whip the ball out back to the right. So I love watching quarterbacks throw. It'd be like going to the driving range and watching that if you love golf. I love watching the footwork here.
Look at that one.
See how crisp he is.
All right, we got the glance. All right, we got the glance.
A little glance route here coming up.
We got the glance.
Really just a
We're going gun.
tiny
We got
kind
a
of
glance.
inside move from a receiver on the outside.
Man, again,
It just comes
power,
out quick, yeah.
power.
Oh, yeah.
There's another look at the footwork there, right side of your screen. Calm,
Yeah.
purposeful movements, right? No wasted movements back
All right,
there.
Trey.
And you got quiet. A lot of times
Hey,
we
we
use
got
the
the
term
wide
quiet
over.
feet.
Ari. We got past 19. He's going to pull up action.
Brett Lewis, Daniel Jeremiah, Kim Jones here on this Path to the Draft Pro Day special presented by Verizon here on NFL Network, watching Trey Lance,
Yep, we're
North
good.
Dakota State quarterback, a national champion in 2019. Worked through his 65 throw
Yep.
workout here
Good
at
shot,
the Bison
kid.
Pro Day.
See these deep overs a lot
All
when
right,
you
we're
watch
going X
NFL
and Y
football
hook.
on
We got the
Sunday.
14-yard
Be able
curl.
to drive that
He's
football.
going past
DK
14
Metcalf got a couple of
action.
those,
Yeah,
didn't he?
a few.
Starting
Yeah.
his eyes to the tight end. He's getting back to this 14-yard curl. Curl flat.
And you know, some of the things he does really well, which we won't
Yeah.
get a chance to see
Yeah.
featured in a pro day setting, as you saw him there mimicking, working through progression,
Got the 5-yard out
is
on
he's
the
got
left.
really quick eyes, and you see that on tape. And to me, that's a little bit of the difference with him and Justin Fields. It's very close evaluation for me, but with the quickness of his eyes, I think that separates him. And then the decision making. Had the one interception this year, the previous year didn't throw any.
Right.
So he protects the football. And you go meet with coaches and the quarterbacks that value the football, you'll find your way into the good graces of the coach.
Yeah, that one interception coming in the second half of the win over Central Arkansas in the lone game this season for Trey Lance in the fall season for North Dakota State. Looked like he kind of stared down the defender a little bit, that deep safety on a seam route, and just kind of a little bit late on it and got it picked off, but you didn't see it very often. Only time, in
Hey,
fact.
so we got the bow
Saw
concept.
just a
turn
second
your eyes to
ago
the right.
that
He's coming
up
back
close
and
look at
taking
his feet, little 5-step and a hitch, and get the ball out.
it. Under, rhythm right. Reset, coming back left.
Got a slot wide receiver here on the left.
On. Just like that.
I want you to look at the
Yeah.
height of that football. Like when you watch that, to me, that's what's so impressive. You see guys make that throw all the time. That thing's not more than 7
Yeah,
feet
yeah.
off the ground.
Not at all. On a rope. That's where it
Come
comes
back
from,
to it.
right? Same thing to the other side.
I see you, kid.
Kept him in bounds, right?
He's a little tiny bit
Yeah.
late on that. It's one of the
Hey,
hard
we
things
got
too, is just to
the,
get the timing
seam
routes
for
here
you,
with
right?
these receivers.
You're on the right side.
Here's the one that we just talked about a second ago. Look at the height of the football. Look
You're
at how
right.
flat. I mean, it barely goes out of the screen.
Well, that's the thing. Like, he can make that
You
throw
have it
from
on
the
the
opposite
left.
hash.
Yeah.
Right? And we saw that in the Central Arkansas game as well. In fact, his first completion was a 15-yard deep out route that went from the left hash to the right side of the field.
Just like that.
Yeah.
So to me, look, it's
we
a
got one
challenging
high
evaluation because of the number of throws, the limited number of starts. But man, to me, it's like you've watched, 30 minutes of a great movie. You feel pretty good about the fact that it's going to end up well because what you've seen from him gets you excited about where it's headed and where it's going. You just haven't had a chance to see quite as much of him as we have with some of these other guys. As you see him retrace, work left to right, again, drive the ball.
Yeah, and if you're one of those teams, that might play in a real cold weather division late in the season, this guy might be for you. Grew up in Minnesota, practiced out in North Dakota State, not allowed to wear sleeves as a freshman in North Dakota State out of practice. I think he can handle that.
Yeah, he'll be just fine. And you talk about the athlete that he is. He had offers in the Big Ten to play safety and linebacker. And he believed in himself, and rightfully so, that he should stay at quarterback, and that's how he ended up at North Dakota State. But you can see physically, he's put together.
So traits we talk about a lot with these quarterbacks, right? Who's got the biggest arm in this draft? It's Trey Lance.
Yeah, Trey Lance, yeah. You want to line these guys up next to each other and just show pure velocity, it would be him.
Okay, we need to see some show-off throws at the end of this thing, right?
Well, yeah, I think you're going to see some. They usually save the best
Save
for
the best for
on
last, right?
those.
Yeah.
But I think some people think about arm strength. And
That
they
one on
think
the move right there.
fading away.
Yeah.
But some people think arm strength, it's how far you throw the football. I don't care. How many times are you going to throw the football 70 yards? Twice a season?
Kind of fun to watch, though.
Yeah, but to me, it's can you drive?
I got you.
Can you drive it?
Yeah.
I see it doing the Charger games with Justin Herbert. Those throws that he makes where the ball's 6-7 feet off the ground. That's what Justin Herbert did all last year. Oh, here we go, working backside. There you go. It's still a good ball.
I think that one's on target. Yep. Put your hands on that one. Want to catch it.
Yep.
He's relaxed. He's loose.
Yep, you got the whip.
Another look here.
Yep.
Off play action.
You
And
got
again,
the
a
next
lot of
one,
these
right?
guys in
Whip.
college have been in the shotgun, and this is a little foreign to them. This is something you saw him do on the playing field. So very comfortable.
Simulating those improvisational throws that you'll have to make in the face of pressure, right?
Yep. Saw Shane Steichen, the new coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, their offensive coordinator in the back with the hat on. He coached Justin Herbert last year, so he's got interesting context to watch this workout.
And watch an early impact, right? A little off target there as he was
bit of a miss.
facing a little pressure, right?
Yeah, wanted to fade away there.
Simulated.
So far, a couple of his misses have been to the right, and I think as a right-handed quarterback myself, not that I was any good, but I like throwing to the left more because I could force myself open up and you can be a little bit more accurate sometimes.
Yes, sir. Good catch,
Well, I
Mark.
mean, it's a playable ball.
I think you're seeing the skill set here, Rhett. You know, is he going to be
got
pinpoint
Daggett.
accurate as you might see
Right.
if you watch a Mac Jones workout? No.
Right.
But his ability to power the football creates more opportunities for different types of throws that some other guys aren't going to be able to
Opportunities in
make.
tighter windows.
Yeah.
And I just think the inexperience that
Shot, kid.
you know people want to talk about when we bring Trey
Oh,
Lance's
you got
name
the
into the
sale
quarterback
now.
conversation is minimize some, but what we talked about earlier is that the system that he was in, the things that he was asked to do, he's got some
Sale on
of
the
that
right.
type of experience on an NFL level.
And I think, you know, again, I keep coming back to the number of starts, but there's never a complete picture with any player. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is the best player in the draft, the best quarterback. It's not still a complete picture because he wasn't asked to do some of the things he'll be asked to do at the next level. So with Trey Lance, the numbers are limited, but man, those are quality reps that he's had doing things that translate very easily and very well to the next level. And so you've got to fill in the rest of the spots. Okay, he's got the arm strength, he's got the athleticism. You hear about the intelligence. I see the toughness.
And look,
Okay, I can fill in the blanks here.
Sure, and you know the offense that he ran and the things that he was asked to do, very similar to what we saw Carson Wentz do, and a big reason why people fell in love with Carson Wentz. You know, I mean, he was a guy that took care of the football. You know, he had around 20 attempts a game. Ended up Trey Lance rushing for over 50 yards 6 times, a couple of 100-yard games. So he just
Over, left
gives
to
you
right.
a lot of options.
Yep.
He's a
Pass
more
15 action.
dynamic runner than Carson.
Sure.
I would say Carson has a huge arm. People can look at what happened recently, but Carson, you see some wow throws with him. I'd say their arm strength is similar. Where I would give Trey a little bit of an advantage is just the decision making.
There's another
doing
good one
that.
there.
Yeah. Go
Nice
like,
throw over the middle
yep.
there for Trey Lance. Kim Jones joining us live on site there inside the
19,
Fargo
Trey.
Dome. Kim, what do you have?
Yep, pass 19.
Hey guys, well, as you know, or probably know, all that North Dakota State University does on the football field, it seems, is win, and often win national championships. Here we go, a long one. Oh my!
That's his best throw of the day, Ken.
I'll get it back to you guys because this is great stuff. But guys, Trey Lance has a chip on his shoulder, but you know what? So does every other player on this football team because they all feel that we weren't selected by the bigger colleges and they didn't want us. And I'm told by his buddy Phoenix Sproles that is compounded by that idea that some folks wanted Trey to play safety. He obviously, and for good reason, considers himself a quarterback.
Yeah, one of those schools, his hometown, Minnesota Golden Gophers.
We're going red zone.
That throw right there, as Kim was talking, at pinpoint accuracy, what was that, about 55 yards down the field?
Yeah, that was a beautiful ball. That had a little Josh Allen vibe to it, a little flair to it with that throw.
Yeah, there's a reason why we're talking about Trey Lance as a top 10 quarterback as we get down into the red zone here.
Taper fade.
So you get down inside the red zone, Rhett, and this is where a couple things he does really well are to his advantage. Number one, he can extend plays, buy some time with his legs. You can use him as a runner. He can power the football into very tight windows as the windows shrink when you get down inside the red zone. Look at that missile.
Yeah.
So that works to your advantage. And then finally, again, as a coordinator, hey, we got to get points, protect the football, and that's what he does. He's done it, throughout those 17 games. It's a remarkable statistic with last year. 28 touchdowns, no picks in 2019. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about Lamar
red zone
Jackson's
fade.
statistics inside the red zone, not throwing interceptions in the red zone.
Hey, give him a
And
little something at
that's
the
Trey
top,
Lance's
baby.
MO. I mean, he takes care of the football.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when that was the
All right,
one
we got
that
the
thrown
logo
in.
on the left.
Somebody had asked me about him last year, because over the summer I watched 3 games on all the top quarterbacks coming into the year.
Yeah.
And just based off the 3-game evaluation, I thought Trey Lance played the best in 2019 and that's including Trevor Lawrence, that's including Justin Fields on 2019 tape. Again, that was a snapshot 3-game look. But that's how impressive he was. And so I got a call from somebody in the league that said, tell me about that. I haven't watched this kid yet. And I go, well, if you're into guys that throw touchdowns, run for touchdowns, and never turn the ball over and win every game, I think you might like him.
He's today's NFL quarterback, right? What we're seeing, the evolution. I'm seeing these red zone throws.
And I know the
Corner from the
Patriots.
slot.
So all of his misses have been to the right side. That's kind of interesting. There, some guys do favor one side versus the other. And again, this hasn't been the pinpoint accurate, cleanest pro day that you've ever seen. But the good is so good,
Right.
And the juice and the power on the football is so real. You get excited about where this can go with Trey Lance. He's not a finished product as a thrower right now. There's still room to grow, but you're betting on the kid that he's going to get there.
Yeah, DJ Moore might have come down with that if he's a Carolina Panther at number 8 there in the corner of the end zone.
I know that the Patriots re-signed Cam Newton today.
They did. It's an
But I'm
interesting
sitting here
thought.
thinking, you talk about his ability as a runner and think of a young Cam and some of the things he can do. Patriots want to play great defense, special teams, shorten the game, be physical. They just brought Trent Brown back in. Interesting fit there with the New England Patriots.
I know it's just a 1-year deal for Cam Newton, but it makes you feel like the way the offense is trending there, that's maybe less likely a destination for a guy like Mac Jones, maybe more so a guy like Trey Lance here. But they'd have to move up, I feel like, in order to be in on Trey Lance.
Yeah, I look
15.
To me, if you're outside the top 10 and you like Trey Lance, and we'll see. Look, we got to get through free agency. Let's see what happens with Deshaun Watson.
Sure.
But when I look at Trey Lance and I see Joe Brady back there behind him and the Carolina Panthers picking at number 8, and I know Matt Rule, we've talked to him a bunch, toughness and competitiveness.
Yeah.
It's this guy.
It's this guy.
So to me, if you want Trey Lance and you're picking outside the top 10, you better get to number 7.
Here's the things you want to nitpick. We've seen some things, right, here in this pro day, right, that aren't perfect. But the things you love, you're seeing. But the things you maybe love the most, you don't even get to see here at a pro day, right? Is his ability to create, with his legs. It's his ability to lead the team. I remember you guys told a story on the podcast when you were interviewing him. Give me an example of your leadership. He goes, how about 4th and 1 against South Dakota State from my own 28 in the 4th quarter? There was no way I was coming off the field. On my own 28, with the game on the line, we were going for it on 4th and 1. Hands it off next play, 75-yard touchdown.
So if we're going to look at this workout, and as you said, let's nitpick it.
Yeah.
Okay, he's had some misses. There's been a couple accuracy issues on it, just a couple throws.
Yeah.
Well, okay, everything else you love about him, there's a couple
good.
balls a little off. Look at Josh Allen and his development and what we saw last year. And you cannot tell me anymore that you cannot improve some ball placement.
You cannot improve completion percentage because you can't win up almost 20 points last year for Josh Allen.
Can't say it anymore.
Buffalo Bills playing in an AFC championship game. Certainly an interesting comparison from that standpoint, from the development standpoint. Great throw there on the run in the corner of the end zone. Let's see, there you go, about 65 throws there for Trey Lance.